packed up again. Right, morning guys. Try and keep this short and sweet if possible. This part is, this is about the fifth time I've tried to record this as well. I'm not too good at talking on camera. I just seem to get all tongue-tied and talk about complete and utter garbage. So let's hope we can get this done, and hopefully it's not a load of bag of nails and it's rubbish. But we'll do wind turbines work in the UK. Quite a few things, I suppose, which I didn't include in the last video of the wind turbine, which isn't going to go up because it's a load of rubbish, is there's quite a lot to consider, I think. I'm hopefully going to put some clips in. Noise, location, neighbours, I suppose, is one of the three key things. I didn't realise how much noise it could make. Mine's almost got like a noise like it's got a bearing, but I've taken the propeller, taken the blades off, the hub, whatever you want to. There's no play or anything in it, so maybe it's just the vibration coming through the tube. It's not a full scaffold tube, it's the next one down, because they're sized like 1, 2, 3, whatever. Because that fitted in the flange. Now whether that needs to be shortened, make a bracket and a bigger circumference tube, which I have got, don't know. Basically I just wanted to shove it up, and I've put it on the side of the chicken coop. Just get it up because we had some windy days. You wouldn't Adam and Eve it. I've had it up for maybe 5 days, something like that. And then on the 4th day the wind just died, and we haven't had any wind coming from the south. From the north we have, but I think there's some trees and some hedging that's not allowing that to perform as it should be. Well, I couldn't go any higher because the pole was only 3 meters long. If I would have gone up over the top of the trees, maybe I could have picked the wind up from there. It's experiment for me. Got to experiment and play about. Oh yeah, and the 4th one is real estate, I suppose. You've got to have enough land to put a turbine up, because you need to obviously tie the thing down or it's going to be gone, or then the blades are going to get annihilated. And this is, I suppose, it's very dark, very hard to find any information out, but I think as long as it's not on a boundary where if it did fall down or come down that it's going to land in a road or cause danger to other people or your neighbours. I'm quite fortunate my neighbours are over there, and where I've positioned mine, again, for me, location was, I didn't really want it this end, because if it's up in the air, the pole and the turbine could cause shading on the panels. So then that's going to have an adverse effect on the panel performance if you've got a turbine shadowing over a cell or a pole. It's not massive, but I did see a video where a guy only had a guide wire, and it was causing him to have quite a considerable drop in panel efficiency. So I've gone that side, which is past my panels. I'll include some pictures here, and basically my chicken coop's up there. I've bolted it to the chicken coop. I've measured, I'm a good enough distance away from a little lane we have going down to this farm right down the bottom. Nothing really comes up and down there. There's a field opposite that. People do walk in there with their dogs, but my hedging's there. If that was ever to annihilate, it's never getting over there. If it's coming this way, it's going to go smashing into my house and into me conservatory and my outside monster gazebo, I'd call it. So location and stuff is key, I suppose, and obviously neighbours, because if it's making a noise, which, like I said, I'll put some video footage. I was quite surprised. Now when the wind's really blowing around here, obviously it doesn't really tell so much till you get closer, and to me it's not an unpleasant noise, because it's a as you've most probably heard. To some people that might be an annoyance, an absolute annoyance for a noise. And my next bit was, is a wind turbine viable in the UK? Well, what that's putting out, I put the specs up. I don't think one on its own is going to make a massive difference on my big 48 volt bank. Big shout out to the Off-Grid UK. I'll put the name up here. Go and check him out. He's got 4 running a similar SMA system and some other bits, but he's got 4. He's just actually done away with his inverters and he's gone full DC on them. Maybe ask him it, but I think he's got 4 up. I think 4 is maybe a good number, but again, you need the real estate for 4 turbines. You don't really want one in front of the other one. You want to be trying to catch cleaner air, and you've got neighbours and so forth to be, you know, to think about. Obviously, you know, it's all right you chucking one out and you think, well, it's in my garden, but it's surprising how neighbours can cause you grief that you just really don't want. So I'll give you a quick spin. Like I say, I've only quickly wired it all in because I wanted to catch some of the wind, wanted to get some of the data, which didn't really go too well because the meter that I used decided it'd pack up, which you most probably saw at the beginning of this clip. So I have ordered some more. I'm going to use them through a shunt. I'll show you the ones I was using, but the ones basically just got them off eBay. But as you can see on the beginning clip, she packed up, so I'm just going to change them. I already had a little shunt, so I've just ordered some. They're not going to be here to the end of the month, so I'm not really going to get many massive figures. Like I say, it's dead still now, so don't do anything. It's more like a statue than anything else. But like I say, excuse me for the light, but hopefully you can have a quick look and we can then wrap this up because we're 6.5 minutes in. So let's have a quick spin. So this is the setup so far. The charge controller that came with it is this kiddie. Sorry about the bad light. Phases in, doesn't matter which way round you wire them into the charge controller. Then you got your positive and your negative out, went into that dodgy little thing, basically fused it. Make sure you fuse everything, and I've just used some buzz bars, 300 amp buzz bars, just because the batteries can get a little bit chocker. And then this buzz bar, that positive from that buzz bar, literally this fuse, blocking diode, and then that just goes down to my batteries. Negative buzz bar, that's the negative one in off there, literally goes to my batteries. That's the shunt that I was telling you about that I've got. So I've got a gauge coming so I can fit it to there, and we can hopefully get some better readings and it won't pack up. It seems to have done it more when it was hitting 60 volts. That's supposed to go over 60 volts, so I don't know if that had anything to do with it. And then literally, that just literally goes to my neutral on my batteries. So I'm doing it off of there like that. So the other thing I'm doing, and I don't know if it's right, I'm not dumping the voltage off the batteries, I'm dumping the voltage off the turbine. So I've got this Chinese controller, I've got that set up, and I'm drawing the feed or reading the feed. That's my battery voltage at the moment, because I'm reading the feed from my 2 buzz bars over there, which I'll show you now. Positive and my negative buzz bars from my batteries, because the cables I'm using are 70mm, and like I say, you get chockered on the old batteries. So I've got one set of cables going to one sunny island, one set of cables going to the other sunny island, and then the feed in from the battery. So basically fused again, the spare post in there, got the feed there, got the negative there, and that goes straight to that gauge. So from that gauge, I've basically come out positive negative to a 48 volt 250 amp relay into an immersion, temporarily wired up as my dump. So whether I change that or not, I'd like to be able to use the excess, to be honest, but like I said, I don't believe it's going to ever come to that unless it's a really sunny day and a really blowy day. Obviously the solar panels and the inverters, the sunny island's going to have frequency shifted that, but when it goes into there, how I've done that now, that just energizes the coil. So the power comes off of here into another fuse, out of that fuse into the top of my dump. That's the two control wires that basically pull that in, come straight out, in, negative return, which basically goes back to the negative buzz bar. So I'm only dumping what's coming off the turbine. So yeah, only dumping what's coming off the turbine. Now I'm using a version of that there, so 48 volt 200. What's that one then? I said that was a 200. No, 48 volt 200, that one. Spare. Oh, 48 volt 280. That's not as big as that, but it doesn't matter. So yeah, 48, well over the top. I don't need it that much, because I doubt it's going to be dumping that much, because I'm not dumping like I just said. But if it comes that I've got another turbine, different sort that I bought ages ago, going to put that up and wire that up and see how the numbers are for that. It's quite a lot bigger, so it's going to need to be mounted on a more stable, more stability mast pole, whatever you want to flipping call the thing. So that, and I'll show you what the element is. It's 48 volt 900 watt. Watt, yes, 900 watt. So that's basically all I'm using, temporary, as a dump load into that can, which is full of water. Now I suppose ideally, if you were dumping quite a lot, you'd want that to be dumping into your hot water tank. That's quite a long distance away for me, so there must be other ways. I've seen some people, they dump theirs into inverters, and then the inverters give them power or stuff in the shed. So some people just dump them straight into resistors. I suppose if they've got excess energy and power, they're just dumping it to protect it. So if someone can tell me if that is the right way to dump it, or should I be dumping the battery voltage, which I don't really want to be doing, because then I'm going to have to up all the cables and everything on that. That only takes 900 watts, so whatever that is, 48 volts 900 watts, got to do calculations to work the amps, but I just thought it was less to do that. So yeah, that's the basically the element. I can't even remember where I got it from. It does, as I think everything does, it's come from China, so I haven't tested it yet. Well, tell a lie, I don't know, I just dumped it to see if it worked, and it did, because it was blowing a hoolie. So I basically put my own voltage to the relay just to make it operate, and it works as it should do. I had my multimeters and gauges on it all over the place. It was doing what it should do. So I'll do some monthly stats if I can. Can't really give you anything this month, because every time obviously the power goes off, the gauge goes off, but then the gauge packed up, so it lost all its data. So I've got to find a way of recording the data also. Hoping with these new ones that come, by what I've read on it, it does just keep even though it switches off when obviously the turbine stops, when it starts up again, it doesn't reset its running total. You have to physically reset it, even though the other numbers might be zero because it's waiting to start up. I think it gives you a running kilowatt what it's produced. So I'll leave it there with is wind turbines viable in the UK? Yes, I think it can be. One on its own, size of my system, I doubt very much. I think I'd need 4, the same as the UK off-grid. But smaller systems, 12 or 24, I think they could be, as long as you haven't got any neighbours that are going to whinge with the noise and stuff. So we'll carry on playing with this, see if it makes any difference. I've got it now, might as well use it and see what happens. and I'll put the other one up and see how that performs compared to this one. Okay, I'll put the specs on the sheet if I haven't already said that. Got it through AliExpress. I'll put that on there as well, the company. But I did speak to the guy from the UK off-grid place, and he has given me a company on AliExpress as well that he bought his from, and he's really pleased with this, so that's really good. He's pleased with them. I think he's paralleled them, so he's using the full total, which I think is coming like 1.2. Go and watch the video. There's quite a few little short videos on there. Might give some people some ideas. But that's it for now. Take care, and I'll see you all soon.